Hi everyone and welcome back to World Literature class. So for today's session, we're done already with the midterm examination. So at this point in time, we'll now be moving into going into the different places from the different continents and from the different countries as we try to look into how world literature works with literature, and of course with a different setting and different culture, and how the authors try to give really impact to their context and put into the literature. So again, everyone, our topic for today for our world literature class is about the Asian literature, or the Asian or the oceanic literature, so the Oriental literature. So again, our topic for today is about the Asian history and the Oriental literature. So we'll now be moving, everyone. So for our discussion for today, we're going to be dealing with the overview of Asian history, and how does this Asian history really affect, coming up in terms of their literature as a whole. Okay, so these are the following slides providing an overview of Asian history from the China, Korea, and whatsoever. And I know you're very familiar with Asian countries, right? So being our country, Philippines, which belongs to Asia. Okay, so Asian literature basically is encompassing the people and the rich and widely diverse cultural and ethnic heritages found in such countries belonging in Asia. So the examples are China, India, Japan, Vietnam, and Korea. And Asia, or Asian people, I know you're very familiar that here in Asia, we have many cultures from different countries. However, since they are adjacent to one another, they have similarities, though they have differences also, because one culture is unique from different countries. So Asian American literature also shows the impact of immigrating to a new country, with the Asian characters trying to retain their previous culture and adjusting to new situations. So Asian literature also provides culture with opportunities to explore various cultures through a wide variety of literary genres. So if you're going to be looking at Asian literature, they have their own unique genres. The same thing with the other genres from the different countries. But if you're going to be looking in Asian literature, they have some different types of literature that can only be found in Asian countries and were adopted by other countries also. Okay, so let's start first with the history of Asia and how these Chinese civilizations and of course those events and all really affect the Asian literature or the works of literature in Asia. So let's start with the Chinese civilization. So I know you're very familiar na pag sinabing Chinese, marami ditong mga dynasty. So we have lots of dynasty here, including the king, the queen, the emperor, the empress, and whatsoever. So here, it started with 1600 BC to 1047 BC. And from the Shang dynasty, having 31 kings of same family, having weak central control and written records. So if you're going to be looking into the Chinese civilization, having that context, it was clearly seen from the Chinese drama, right? I know you're very familiar with the Chinese drama that really, flaunting from the Netflix and other digital platforms. So here we do have also the Zhou dynasty at 1047 to 256 BC, the Qin dynasty from 221 to 206. Here they have the unification of the political entities, having centralized control, the laws, the measures, the currency, the roads, the Great Wall, the thinking. So they have already the one thinking from the 31 kings, having first emperor of Qin, Qin Shi Huang. Okay, and then finally, from the later dynasty, we do have the Han, the Jin, the Su, the Tang, the Song, the Yuan, the Ming. So each year, each dynasty, they have their own really rich culture and really, different events that really affect one another and really affect also our writers and writing. So here we do have the China's tributary system. Here they have the traditional system for managing foreign relations, and therefore they have the central kingdom worldview. The Ming Dynasty at 1368 to 1644 had the most extensive tributary system. What is tributary system? Tributary system is basically more of laws, more of their rules. So tributes from East Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and even West Asia and Africa, they have one agreement of certain thing. Okay. So here at Zheng He's fleet at 1405 to 33, over 300 ships and 20,000 men, trade and commerce. So Southeast Asia, South Asia, West Asia, and East Africa, they try to open their countries already in terms of trading and in terms of commerce, of economy. So more of trading their own products and all. So therefore, through that, they have here the Zheng He's expedition. Crowning success is his gift of exotic African animals. To the Chinese court, a giraffe is taken to the mythical killing, a symbol of a just government. So if you're going to be looking also into the other literature, the animals takes into symbolism and also other objects, and can also be seen into the types of literature that they have. So here we have the ancient Southeast Asia. The Buddhist kingdoms and empires trade with East and South Asia, nearly continuous warfare, and therefore there is an invasion of Mongols already and spread of Islam, and then mosaic of small states. So like that. So here, from that, I know you're very familiar that there is an opium war into the China that really affects the trading of countries, and therefore British Navy captured Hong Kong and defeated China, which whereas this historic turning point comes in with a series of Western invasion, unequal treaties with Western powers, and then the extra territorial jurisdiction. The tariffs also subject to approval by Western powers, and shattered the tributary system, moral agreement, and exacerbated domestic crisis, and then culminated in the fall of Qing Dynasty. So there you go. So fall of China and the flourishing of Japan. So Japan's Meiji restoration. Similar challenges, different response. So Japan's 250 years seclusion, American Commodore Matthew Perry's warship entered Tokyo Bay in 1853. Therefore, through the invasion and all, therefore, there is a Western challenge, a series of treaties with Britain, France, Russia, and the Netherlands, opening port, the low custom duties, the extraterritorial jurisdiction, and therefore, there is a domestic problem. The shogun, or literally general in Edo, Tokyo, controlled the emperor in Kyoto. Shogun's government didn't have strong central control, and therefore Japan was divided into some 260 semi-autonomous and mutually jealous domains. So there is another major restoration, breaking down the shoguns politely, created centralized national government, used emperor as a focus of loyalty and symbol of legitimacy. And therefore, there is an imperial guard of 10,000 men. So if you're gonna be looking into really the events of it, you're gonna be seeing this one into our movies, into our stories of histories and all, because eventually they try to reenact only what is happening into the context of their countries. So here there is a two most important constituencies, the samurai and the farmers. The samurai, the privileges, but gradually removed, and then farmers from the land tax reform, eradication of payment and produce, basis for modern capitalists, and 109 million certificates of land ownership. So there is already the establishment of education from elementary school, and then there is a compulsory of education already. And there is military, wherein the citizen becomes army, and then the Meiji Constitution of 1889, the male suffrage, the bicameral legislature, the emperor's right, and the war minister of navy minister from military. So if we're gonna be looking at it, they have already, I mean, a different way of how there is an administrative control from the emperor to electorate, and then going into down from the home ministry, and then there is a different from the prime ministers. That's why if we're gonna be looking into the stories of China, Korea, or mga dramas, they have a different from a different organization of the emperor and then the prime minister. Okay, so however, they still have I mean, the same judicial system and all. However, into our emperor and all, they have a different way of how they try to appoint their own people. Okay, so self-modernization, industrialization, technological innovation, and growth of trade. And then there you go, the Japan defeated China in 1894, and the Japan defeated Russia in 1905. So here, so Asia by World War II, if we're gonna be looking at the map, how really look into the World War II take place from the different countries, from the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. So there you go. And then after that one, we do have already the Southeast Asian literature history. So let's move on. So if you're going to be looking into the Southeast Asian literature, they have what we call the theme, or the central idea or central messages of all of some of our literature. So we have the Oriental philosophy. This is a system that harmonizes the natural and social world that includes humanity in the center, uniting with nature and society. And they discover not only the three directions of time, the past, the present, and the future, but also a fourth direction of their spiritual life. That's why if we're going to be looking into their own stories and own poems and most of their central messages and central topics are from the past, present, and future, and of course, the spiritual life. So here, they have the nature and society and humanity unite with one another in a harmony of beauty. So the link of human generations and the creatures never ends. So nan turns up, nan means endless, hand, have. It's not simply possessive in meaning, but it means the limitation of changing and the developing a process of everything. So here, also different countries, they have their own beliefs and own religion. So there you go. So here we do have Burma as the one that they try to really have a spiritual thing for Buddhism, the anti-government exposure of government corruption. So here for Indonesian man, we do have the Ramayana, the journey of Rama, wherein the purpose of their story is about conquering evil with good. So the important things that you may see into Ramayana are the meditation, the power of language, the hierarchy, and the case thing, which is about the law. So here at Laos, we do have the secular text, much richer than religious text, because this is more of a popular and classical literature that well known into the levels of society, the stories, the legends, the poems of oral tradition that are satirical in tone, and call the stories, they are called sisva, more of strong moral and educational content. So they have also tales and judicial stories. They have also historical legends, the poetry, the classical Lao literature, that their themes are including the handsome priest as the heroine and the beautiful princess as the antagonist, as a demon. So there is also a Lao version of the Ramayana. So however, on the other hand, for our Philippine literature, in Asia, we have the epics for like stories of heroes, the myths, the legends, the riddles, and the balagtasan. We have also the cultural values as the universal theme of epic poetry, which are the following: the birth of the hero, the precocious strength, the magical powers, the Herculean deeds, the extraterrestrial journey, and of course, the death and resurrection. And we do have also some epic of romance and then epic of migration. like the Biyag ni Lamang, what else? The Tungkong Langit, like that. So we have also a literature from Thailand, but the revolving way of how they present their literature are more of faith and karma, the Jataka tales, the Buddhist, the theme of rice, gather as much you need for one day. For Vietnam, we do have the rich and varied over the centuries, wherein they depict humor, realism, and irony of the Vietnamese people, wherein it's about the Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and animism. And it you can clearly see it into their literature and into their drama. So here at the Asian literature, they are rich and diverse cultural and ethnic heritage, and they try to impact on emigrating to a new country, trying to retain their previous culture and adjust to new situation. So we have also the piety in China, the importance of respect for ancestors, and utmost regards for parents. That's why if you're gonna be looking into their stories, they have what we call they try to look into first what the ancestors would say into a certain thing, and therefore from the things that the ancestors from the sayings of their ancestors, they try to put into their everyday life, and they try really have a strong belief about that. So the piety towards parents, society, the virtues of righteousness, love, goodness, and truth. So we do have also one of the well-known author, the Lawrence Yap of 2000. So his style is about the difficulty in writing, bridging two culture. So his observations are extremely important into the understanding on how students' parents view society and human relationship. Robert Beer, another author, he really showed the importance of the 5 Buddhas or the 5 enlightened families. Another from the stereotypes in past literature, they are more of the earlier books that were influenced by the Chinese Exclusion Act. So they state on the legislation forever changed Americans' relationship. So we do have another new stereotypes of Asian Americans, the high achievement. Asians are only 5% of the US population, and therefore they are influenced by that. So they are the things that you see on the screen are examples of Asian literature. And they can, however, we are already digitalized. So therefore, those books are adapted into movies and therefore really presented into the digital platforms. And really, we have already the independent movies, and also really everyone can be a writer, really portraying and presenting the richness of the culture of each countries, especially, of course, in Asia. So that would be all, everyone, for Asian literature. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll have another discussion for another literature, I guess, with Australia. So that would be all, everyone. Thank you so much.